Human behavior has always been a mystery. Why do people do what they do? Why do they react one way when we expected something else? How do we learn to understand, connect with, enroll, engage, align with people most effectively? Hi, I'm Christine Comerford, founder of Smart Tribes Institute, and welcome to our Smart Tribes Crack the Behavior Code podcast. In each episode, you'll learn practical, easy-to-use tools to better understand and change human behavior. These tools will help your team outperform, out-engage, outsell the competition. In other words, to become a smart tribe. Oh, and you'll find these tools super helpful in your personal life too. Let's go. Our words shape our reality, and they are based on the stories that we tell ourselves about the world, ourselves, and others. This is why reframing is crucial for leaders and for human beings overall. It's a terrific tool to shape the reality that you want. Reframing is a way of viewing and experiencing events, ideas, concepts, and emotions to find more useful alternatives. It is a practical and valuable tool to shift perception, including your perception of yourself or others' perceptions of themselves. So think of reframing a different pair of glasses. What would you see if you put on a pair of glasses with a heavy tint when you were in a dark room? You would probably see shadows and dark forms that you couldn't identify. And what would happen when you took off those glasses? You might see the most beautiful room in the world. When you switch your glasses, what you see changes. Reframing, mentally and linguistically, does the same thing. It changes the story you tell yourself about something. So this is what's so crucial as a leader, is we tell people the reality that we experience, which then helps them determine what reality they want to experience. Things are hard if we say they're hard. Things are easy if we say they're easy. So let's talk about how to change your story. And it's on the show page. And then you're going to find that in that research, they proved that the stories that we tell ourselves shape our world. So the good news is that we can always create new stories about the decisions we've made about ourselves, our abilities, and the world. The result? We change our experience. If we say it's good, it feels good. If we say it's bad, it feels bad. Here are two examples. Here's a business example. Wow, it's really hard to get a job fresh out of college these days. The market is crowded and overqualified people are competing for every single job. No wonder I'm unemployed. It's tough out there. A reframe could be, oh, it's awesome that there are a lot of people job hunting right now, because it gives a person an opportunity to really bring his or her A game in order to stand out. I'm sending my resume in creative ways to get an interview. I'm doing more research than I've ever done before to prepare for interviews. And then I'm following up on interviews using cool and creative methods. I'm learning a 10. Reality is what you say it is. See how kind of meaningful the shifts are that I just went over. One was from defeat, deciding that job hunting will be hard, which means it will be, because that's the story the person is committed to. And to a sense of power, can-do, creative, and agile. Let's look at a personal life example. Here's a story that I heard a little while ago. I was a girl in a household of boys, and my brothers and parents wanted another boy, so I was perpetually left out and labeled as a disappointment. I've never been good enough. Reality is what you say it is. Here's an alternative. Here's a reframe. I grew up in the perfect family that would enable me to learn to see and honor my unique value. I was given great opportunities to be independent and forge my own path in life. I also learned to be self-reliant, which has made me strong and fearless. See how the meaning she is making shifts from disempowering to empowering. What meaning are you making? So let's look at reframing and how to use it all the time. So while tools like the distorted thinking decoder, which is on the show page, and also neuro storytelling, which is on the show page, while these are both great and they're linked to today's show notes, they help you reframe your situation. You can also reframe all sorts of scenarios daily. Here's how it works. Imagine your spouse has just made the morning coffee, and while scooping the grounds into the coffee machine, he or she has spilled a considerable amount of coffee on the counter. They don't notice this, and they move on to the next item in their morning routine. Now, you could focus on the bad behavior and complain about the mess, right, and have no coffee or affection that morning, or you could practice reframing in one of at least two ways. Context reframing. Gosh, these reframes work on the principle that every behavior is useful in some context. So when we change the context, we also change the meaning that we make about another's behavior. Check it out. In the spilled coffee example, you could use a context reframe as follows. Your spilling coffee means we are so much more privileged than 80% of the world who can't afford to have gourmet coffee in the morning or coffee with breakfast. By changing the actual content of the meaning that you give the behavior. So in the spilled coffee example, a content reframe might be, your spilling coffee doesn't mean you made a mess. It just means you were rushing to make sure I was taken care of. Ooh, how does that feel? That feels kind of good, huh? Now, there's a reframing infographic that I think you'll find helpful on the show page. So the behavior and the facts of the matter are the same. We've just altered our self-talk to make different meaning from the coffee grounds on the counter, right? Which story feels good? Which story feels bad? Which story is going to lead to more progressive, useful behavior afterwards? Because after all, at the end of the day, do you care more about some coffee grounds or about the relationship? In the same way, which do you care more about in business? Success as a team or assigning blame and shame? So the net, when you change the story, you change the meaning and you change how something feels, empowering or disempowering. That's then going to change the behavior. Reframing helps us make new meaning quickly and easily. Reframing is a practical tool to shift perception, including your perception of yourself, things outside of you, or even other people's perceptions of themselves or of things outside. What would you like to reframe in your life or business today? Thanks for joining me on this episode. Every listen, every share, every review helps others form their own smart tribes where teams are engaged, happy, and optimally performing. Together, you and I can help millions of people crack the behavior code in their organizations, families, and communities. I invite you to take 2 minutes and head over to smarttribesinstitute.com to discover more about how to form a smart tribe. See you there, and please tell your friends.